some women stay in abusive situations and they don't want to be in there. I think that God has a unique way of getting our attention while we're not paying attention. Everyone has trauma, they just don't admit it. We are in a mental health tsunami, meaning relationships, work relationships, businesses, mental health tsunami. Everyone's having trauma, but most don't recognize it. These are different times. And if you don't change, it will change you.
It's not a one size fits all.
But they take it, put them all in one pack.
Yes.
If I got the right people working with me,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it happen.
Welcome to another episode of the Deep Dive Podcast. My name is Raissa and we have...
And I'm Gloria.
And today we have a special guest. His name is Mr. Linner Roy. He's a dedicated advocate and leader committed to improving the lives of children and families, particularly those with special needs, with a career focus on championing their rights and ensuring access to essential resources. He has become a respected figure in the field and is also a certified parent educator and an accomplished parent leader. Oliver has significantly impacted various organizations aimed at empowering caregivers and fostering strong parent-child relationships. His dedication has earned him accolades, including Parent Leader of the Year Award from Parent Anonymous and the DC Children's Trust Funds. Oliver's extensive training in areas such as nonviolent crisis intervention, positive behavioral intervention, and key educational policies like No Child Left Behind and the IDEA reflects his commitment to professional development. He actively participates in community initiatives, serving on committees like the Mayor's Advisory Committee on Early Childhood Development and the HSCSN Family Advisory Council. His personal experience as a parent enhances his advocacy, making him an empathic and relatable person. Through his caring nature and deep-rooted passion, Oliver aspires to join his mission in creating a more inclusive and supportive world for families. Help us welcome Mr. Oliver.
That was good. I'm ready to vote for me too.
Thank you so much for being here.
Well, it's a blessing to be here. When I was asked, it wasn't a doubt.
Oh, thank you. So, what shaped who you became today? Why did you decide to do what you're doing?
It was a lot, but to make it short, I think it was the way I grew up. I think the poverty situations and the tragedies and the discomfort situation put me in the position that I'm in today.
Right. It's true.
Wow. So, what challenges have you faced that helped you advocate for the work that you do?
So, to put that in a short content, I would say the neglect field, being neglected. I would say being underprivileged, not having some of the basic things that you need as a kid growing up. I would say that my mom did the best she could under the circumstances. However, it was a very impoverished situation. There's a lot of children, a lot of brothers and sisters.
How many?
It was about 6. I say about 6 because sometimes you got a neighbor's kid to come over that wants to be part of the family, but then they leave after they eat, so then we don't count them no more.
Yeah.
So it was a rough childhood. We dealt with child abuse and neglect. We dealt with domestic violence. It was a lot. So as an advocate for persons with intellectual and developmental disabilities or advocate for women, I understand how abuse happens.
Right.
I understand how some women stay in abusive situations and they don't want to be in there. I understand how a child feels neglected and abused. I understand these things because I went through all of those. So being an advocate that I am today, all of those messed up experiences developed this. So would you have asked me 5 years ago or 10 years ago, would I be running for council of the District of Columbia? No. I would have told you lost your mind. I'm not doing that. Had you asked me 10 years ago, will I be an advocate for persons with disability? I would say, no, I won't do that. That wasn't in my plan. That wasn't my 10 or 20-year plan. I think that God has a unique way of getting our attention while we're not paying attention.
That's true. That's true. Oh.
So that was something that it's been the experience of going through those things that got me to where I am. Now, there's a bunch of different departments of that with child and family services, with the neglect, with the psychological and emotional abuse. A lot of our youth and young people are in households now that are being mentally and psychologically abused.
Yeah.
Well, they don't know it because they don't know what the abuse signs are.
Right.
So when that kid goes to school with a bad temper or taking it out on the teacher has no idea what the youth is dealing with at home, male or female. So now we're into the mental health piece.
Yeah.
I was part of Hillcrest Children's Center of Washington, D.C., and they was like a residential program for children being neglected at home.
Right.
That was the worst place in the world I could be.
Wow.
Why?
I mean, it was terrible. I
What
mean,
is it?
well, it was like a jail. It was like a jail for kids.
Oh my God.
And you know, it was located on W Street, Northwest Washington, D.C. My mom had it shut down. My mom sued them after she found out some of the things that was going on in there, and had the place closed. So when I tell you, or when you ask the question about where I am now, what made me to be the person, it's been a lot of tragedy. Psychological. It's a miracle right now I'm not mentally screwed.
I was about to ask you that. Do you have any trauma?
I do. Well, everyone has trauma. They just don't admit it.
Yeah.
Because everybody want to put on this perfect,
Right.
I'm fine, it don't affect me. Everything affects you.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So what I like to say is this. No matter what trauma you go through, at the end of the day, you have to find peace within yourself. How will a young person understand that if they don't have peace? You're struggling with your studies. You're struggling over this boyfriend or this girlfriend. You're struggling over getting an assignment done. You're dealing with your mom's issue. You may have been sexually abused or sexually harassed, and you're uncomfortable with dealing with certain people.
Yeah.
How do you do these things? You have to be able to focus and find some peace within yourself and then take what appropriate course of action you can. Now, is it perfect? No, it's not perfect, but it's effective. Do it work? Yes, it works. Do it work all the time? Not all the time. So when you're talking about mental health, behavioral health, when you're talking about abuse and neglect, when you're talking about domestic violence, it all comes down to the same things.
That's true.
Now you say, how do you find peace in domestic violence? Know that you're the number one investment. Once you invest in you, and we said this earlier, once you invest in you, you can't go wrong with that.
Right.
A lot of people, and I would say women more than men, but a lot of people don't know their value. I know my value. I'm not ashamed or embarrassed of it. I'll tell you in a minute. I'm not perfect, but I'm loyal.
Right.
I'll make it happen. Now, will I make it happen quick? Maybe not. Will it be slow? It may not be slow, but I'm going to do everything within my power to make positive change. Now, I'm bringing that into the campaign because when you're doing political campaigns, there's a bunch of lies and misleading information.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have time for that. Look, this is what we can do, and this is the situation that we're in. We have to be in between.
Right. Right.
I've never ran for public office before. Didn't know what I was doing. We there now.
Right. And you have a wonderful team too.
I have a solid team. My team was built off of loyalty,
Oh, wow.
respect, and an open mind. I don't have to agree with my team.
Right.
Because I tell you, if they see something that's not right, they're going to let me know. If they say, hey, Oliver, let's look at this another, they won't say, Oliver, stop, don't do that, do it this way. I don't hear that. I hear, hey, Oliver, let us look at this in another way. See, sometimes how you present things to people, even in relationships, even in friendships, even in business,
Yeah.
will get you the best outcome. How you present it,
Yeah.
how you ask the question.
Yeah.
Can you mentally, psychologically, and emotionally relate? I can do that with my team. These people was handpicked because of their loyalty, because of their commitment to helping the community and their commitment to helping me. They don't have to support me. I am so grateful that they did.
Right. What's your take on education, and do you believe education can help special needs people in the...
I think you set me up with that question. Do you know what I just did yesterday?
No,
I was right down at the Department of Education protesting, fighting for our children's education. Yes. I was standing there with everybody else, holding my sign up, fighting for our children. So education is not just important, it's crucial. Not so much of the education, but the right education.
The right education.
The right education. Everyone don't educate the same way.
Yeah.
They don't teach the same way.
Yeah.
Now we're in a pre-COVID situation. We have children or adults that learn differently.
That's true.
So what do? We are in a mental health tsunami, meaning relationships, work relationships, businesses, mental health tsunami. Everyone's having trauma, but most don't recognize it. So we're going back to mental health, behavior health, in our schools, with our educators, with our families. So education is crucial. I was there, and in fact, that wasn't part of the plan.
Okay.
My plan that morning was to go out to campaign, get additional signatures, talk to some of my seniors because I'm passionate about working with my seniors. Don't mess with my seniors, I hurt somebody. I hurt somebody. Do not mess with my seniors. So that's what my plan was, but someone sent me a text. I was part of Quality Trust, Family Support Council. They help and work with people and individuals with disabilities. I'm also part of the DES, the Department of Disability Services, Disability Council. So where we help create policies and procedures for persons with intellectual and developmental disabilities in the digital economy. Somebody sent me a text asking was I the same Oliver that was part of the DC Homeland Security Disabilities Advisory Group. I said, yes, I am. Why? She said, well, if you're the chairman of the group, why aren't you down there protesting for our children? I'm sorry, what does disability got to do with our children at this point? She was like, well, Mr. Roy, they're having a protest about education down at the head of education building. I said, really? I said, send me that information. She sent me that information. I got up, I made 3 calls to my team, let them know what I was doing. A lot of them didn't like it because I did it at the whim. We didn't plan it. But I went there and I started meeting with some of these educators, started hearing some of the challenges, starting to feel their pain about how they're dismantling the Department of Education. So it's needed, it's important, and I support it. Good, positive education. You can't support all education. So people say you shouldn't say that. It is what it is. All education ain't the best education.
That's true.
Yeah.
Stacy learns a lot different than little Jimmy. Little Kiki learns a lot better than Amy. You can't put them on the same field.
Right.
But we keep putting them in the same situation education-wise. We look at the IEPs, we look at the behavior assessments, it's different. The numbers will show that. So that's a long one, but I just cut it short there.
Okay. So you do believe in it, and you just think the right education is needed.
Yes, more work need to be done with focusing on the mental health and behavioral health of the children now. These kids are so stressed now. These young women have to deal with things that your moms didn't have to deal with or your grandmothers didn't have to deal with. These are different times. And if you don't change, it will change you.
That's true.
Well, we there.
I like that.
Sexuality, mental and behavioral health. If they haven't seen a positive relationship, why would they know how to build one?
Yeah, you don't know that.
Then they go to school with the same messed up
mentality.
and you wonder where it comes from. It comes from home.
Yeah.
Then the professionals got to deal with that. Why are we paying our teachers more? I'm an advocate for paying teachers way more than what they should have been in. But we'll pay a basketball player, a football player, a couple of $1 million to throw a pigskin that we don't care nothing about.
Don't make no sense.
But it's there.
Yeah.
So education is huge. What's your next one?
So I actually really relate to the topics that you're mentioning because I'm also a DDS provider. So I also work, with young adults that have intellectual and developmental disability. And I understand when you say everyone is different. You know what I mean? Because everyone's diagnosis, everyone's way of understanding and receiving information is different. And so they should be treated like that. You can't, it's not a one size fit all.
But they take it, put them all in one pack.
Yes. Yeah.
You have a classroom of 32 students.
Yeah.
Let's go to college. Let's not even stay at the high school or elementary. Let's say you got a classroom of 32 young adults in that room.
Yeah.
You have 32 mental health and 32 traumatic challenges going on in their heads at that moment while you're teaching. You don't know what the next person is going through psychologically and emotionally.
Yeah.
We ain't talking about cramps. We ain't talking about discomfort from a headache from a party last night. We're talking about sexual abuse. We're talking about housing conditions and situations. We're talking about mental stressors.
Yeah.
Some kids can't study because they got to stress so much when they get home. So where's the support for our youth? Where's the money for our youth? But yet we're spending millions and millions of dollars overseas.
Yeah.
And right here with our educational system and our support for our families is decaying.
Yeah.
I'm not making this up, it's all over the news.
It is.
So I don't plan to have a cure.
Yeah.
My suggestion is let's look at this a little bit clearer. Give the educators the tools they need, and let's give more attention and more support for our youth. They need more youth support services. I just did a re-entry resource fair in Southeast DC for our returning citizens. I was the only candidate that's running for office in that area to be there for our returning citizens.
What is a returning citizen?
A person that's been to jail
Okay.
and that's coming home.
Okay.
They have a lot of psychological and mental and behavioral issues coming home.
Yes.
One of them feeding themselves, clothing themselves. Where's the support for them?
Yeah.
Now let's go back to the students. Where's the support for them? Mentally, psychologically, emotionally, but we're expecting our educators that are underpaid to be able to manage and do this. We have to do a better job at providing them with the resources and support services they need.
And you're the only one running for office that was there.
Wow.
Says a lot.
Yeah.
It says a lot.
Well,
Yeah.
And it's interesting because one of the questions we had was, what are some of the resources that you think that people need? And you touched on that already within your answer.
Yeah.
I created a resource team of advocates.
Yeah.
These advocates have testimonies with congressional leaders. They have testimonies with city council leaders, with the city. These advocates are moms and dads that fight on behalf of children with disabilities and special needs.
Wow.
So when we tell you we're going to provide you with a resource, we look at providing the resource that's going to fit you, because the same resource you get may not be the same that work for you.
Unique.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Again, putting people all in the same pot again don't work.
It doesn't.
Right.
So with my team, with Family First,
Yeah.
that's it right there. Family first.
Right. So what are some of the partnerships that you're willing to create once you get in office?
So look, once I'm getting in office, I'm going to win this.
Amen.
They can't.
Amen.
They can't touch me.
For sure.
I am not the perfect candidate. I'm the best candidate.
Okay.
My plan is to be effective. With one, we have to look at the financial structure of the board.
Okay.
The city's in a financial nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
I didn't do that. I don't control the city budget.
Right.
Second thing is we got to look at the crime wave. If I have a business and I want to bring up the ward, I'm not going to put it in Ward 8 because the crime's so high.
Yeah.
So we have to look at bringing down crime. We
Yes.
do that by providing more resources for our youth. And people show up to support our returned citizens so they're not coming through our windows or getting us at the gas pump.
Yeah, that's scary.
You know, a young woman should be safe going to the gas pump to put gas in the car, not worried about somebody trying to rob her or snatch a bag or
Yeah.
steal a car.
That's true. That's true.
You can't do that if they don't have jobs. You can't do that if they don't have the support services they need in the community. Everything that I've done before this campaign is what these people running on. I'm not a politician, I'm an advocate.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm at the events. I had somebody write up on Facebook that said, well, we don't know him, we never seen him.
Yeah.
That don't mean I don't exist because you didn't know me.
Right.
Maybe you wasn't in the right place.
Maybe you're not looking.
Maybe you wasn't looking right, but
Right.
when you put Oliver and Linner Roy in Google, all my business come up. I'm public.
It does.
Right.
It does.
The Linner Foundation is the 501c3, which
Yeah.
is a nonprofit, and a 509, which is a public charity. We do more than a public charity.
You do.
We don't just fight for persons with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We fight for the regular citizen,
Yeah.
the regular senior.
Yeah.
Once I get in there, there will be a change. Will it be immediate? I'm going to honestly tell you, no, it will not be immediate. We have a $330-some million shortfall for the next 3 years.
Wow.
So the reality is, money's going to be very thin. If we don't bring businesses into the ward, we're not going to make it.
Yeah.
So talking about businesses, so I'm a small business owner myself. So what are some of the initiatives that you're willing to do for small business owners to help
Bring
them
more.
as well? Like understand.
So I'm
wanna
gonna.
get left
I don't
out.
want you to be upset with me, but
Okay.
I want to look at this in a different way with the business owners. So as far as pricing, we have to bring prices down.
Yeah.
I do know you need to make a profit, and I'm all for you making a profit, girl. I want some of that too. But let's make it affordable for everyone.
Yeah.
Let's not just have your client buy your product. Let's have your client buy your product and bring 3 more people.
Because your product is so affordable.
Because not only because your product is so affordable, but you made that happen.
Yep.
So we have to put that into the small businesses in the area. I'm willing to invest additional funds into small businesses in the area, but that will be dependent upon the particular business. The mom and pop store is going to need different funding than the beauty supply store. So we have to look at these things, and we only can look at them by having a conversation. Now, am I going to make everybody happy? No, I won't. But will I make it work? Yes, I will. You're not going to make everybody happy.
At least you're trying.
At least.
No, I'm going to make it happen. When you keep saying you're trying,
Scratch that.
Hey,
You're gonna make it happen.
we're going to make it happen.
Period.
How many times people say, "Well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this,"
And then they
and they only
don't do
did
it.
2 things
Yes.
out of the 5 things they gave
They
you?
don't do it.
If I tell you I'm going to do it, I'm going to make it happen. Will it happen fast? No. Will it happen right away? Maybe not. But it's going to happen.
That should be your slogan. I'm gonna make it happen.
That's too long.
Which one do you? So what is your slogan right now?
My slogan right now is your vote, your power.
Okay.
A lot of African Americans don't vote. They don't vote, and I understand why they don't vote, because they don't feel confident, they don't trust it,
Yeah.
and they don't see no positive results. Well, in order to get the positive results, you gotta vote.
Yeah.
That by you not voting, what you're not realizing is that although you're not voting, you are voting.
Yeah.
Because you're voting to allow the other person.
Yeah.
We ain't say Donald Trump. Well, you're gonna allow the other person to come in.
That's true.
And they make it worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have a lot of people in the race. And it's going to slim down by April the 15th.
Okay.
So my guess is it'll be about 8 people in the race.
Okay.
I'm not worried about none of them because, again, none of them brings what I bring.
Okay.
There's a lot of talent in the candidates that's running for Ward 8. A lot of talent. I really wish there was a way to get that talent for our behavioral health, for our students, for our young people to collaborate and come up with a good policy to support them. But honey, that's like trying to get all them countries together to agree on one place. It's a challenge.
Yeah.
So when do people need to go out and vote?
Well, they need to go out to vote. It's going to be July 15th.
Okay. July 15th.
We're campaigning, but we're not aggressively campaigning until probably the last 2 weeks of the campaign, because it's when you're fresh on people's minds.
Okay.
Now, I'm a newbie because I'm not a politician, I'm an advocate.
Yeah.
So the people that do know me, they know me from being out in the community for resources, networking, job fairs. We do a lot of job fairs.
Yes, you do.
We do a lot of job fairs, a lot of health fairs. I mean, I'm out there. So for a person to say they haven't heard of me, that's kind of challenging, but it is what it is. But I'm out there, it's proven, and it's documented.
So how many, I just want you just to say this, but how many events have you attended last year?
Last year, I did 84 events.
Wow. You attended 84 events.
84
last year.
events, and that don't include the Zooms,
Yeah.
that don't include emails, and I do not include phone calls.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I've seen him almost at every event I've attended. Oliver has always been there.
But they don't know me, they haven't seen me.
Well, they will know about you now.
Well, hope so, hopefully. Look, this is an attempt to make positive change. I am not no miracle worker, I ain't Jesus walking on water. But I'm going to tell you this, if I got the right people working with me,
Yeah.
I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah. I mean, given that you're going to lead, they're going to know about it.
I'd already won it. This is just a formality at this point.
That's the spirit. I like that. That's
You
the
know,
spirit.
he's already so
To
you
me,
already
it's-
got it. Yeah.
I'm not even worried about it.
At all.
I'm not. And then my team has got more confident than I got, because the more I tell them I'm undoubtful about something, they tear me up.
Oh,
Don't you keep saying that. So, whoa, calm down. Okay, look, I'm just trying to keep it real. Well, that is keep it real. We get this. It's done. Okay, it's done.
Yeah.
So it's a tough race. It's a mess. The water's in a mess.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm not a miracle worker. I'm not perfect. I'm loyal. I will be loyal to everyone that supports me. Even those that don't support me, I'm still loyal to making sure that they get the support services they get. But at the end of the day, we got to help ourselves.
Yeah. And I think your energy, your energy also relates to how, even when you relate to me and even Gloria, I can tell you're not getting there, you're already there,
Right.
That positive mindset.
This is just a formality.
Yes.
So if these other candidates were serious, and I'm going to say this publicly, if they were serious, I would have sold them down at education, hold up a sign supporting education.
For sure.
I would have sold them at the returning citizens resource fair that none of the candidates or none of the other ward representatives was at.
Yeah, if they were intentional.
I would have sold that. But I'm a little guy, non-politician, coming in here. I don't understand.
So with that, I think you have one more question before.
So what is your vision, right? What is your vision in general? I think we've already touched on it a little bit, but tell us, what is your vision?
My vision is simple. Positive collaboration for positive change.
Okay.
Simple.
Positive collaboration
For positive change.
for positive change.
Very big on partnership.
You can't do anything without positive partnership. I'm already having conversations with council members. I'm not even a council member yet.
Wow.
I'm building that network of relationships because I want to need their help to help build up the ward.
Yeah.
I'm not what they want to call oblivious to the fact that we have to have help. So,
Even in business, for the people that are business owners that are watching or entrepreneurs, building partnerships and networking is key.
I would say every business person that's watching or every business person that you network with, that is key.
Yes.
My foundation is 10 years old, January the 5th of this year. 10 years of advocating for personal disability.
Are we coming to the
January.
anniversary? Are we invited?
Well, we couldn't afford that. We're a nonprofit. We broke. But we do take donations. They can make donations to Cash App, the Linner Foundation.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so business owners and entrepreneurs have to network.
Yeah.
But some of them don't want to network because they don't want to lose business to other business people. But that's not what it's about.
Right.
Remember the key I just gave you? And I said, listen, if you fish or adjust your prices, Susan won't just come and buy your product. She won't bring 2 other people to buy your
That's
product.
true.
Yeah.
Because of you. So the investment, so the investment again is you. How you effectively communicate with your clients, how you effectively communicate with your parents, how you effectively communicate with your spouse. Communication and networking is key to any business.
Yeah.
I would not be here right now having this conversation with you guys if I did not properly network.
Yeah. We met at a networking event.
There you go.
That's literally where we met, and that's how this is able to happen.
Well, you're such a good person, so
Oh.
this was easy.
No, you were really good. Are you
No,
really
I'm
good?
awesome, but you was way better. You was way better. So.
I love that. So basically, you guys are.
You know how many things I turned down today just to be with you today? To give you this interview?
I'm very honored.
We had 8 other things we needed to do.
I am
but
so honored.
when you said come do this, I said not a problem.
Oh my God.
I ain't even
So
tell you about
honored.
all the other stuff we had going on.
We appreciate it.
Well, it's a blessing, and I'm grateful to do it. So I just hope that the youth or that your viewers really pay attention to networking, really pay attention to the mental and behavioral health support,
Yes.
and vote for Oliver Roy, July the 15th, Ward 8 Council member.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Blessing.
Oliver.
We will definitely be sure to include that, in the video. And you're
So
already
those-
our councilman, so I need
Look.
to start.
You know what they said?
I'm in DC, so
You know what they said yesterday in the resource fair?
No.
They started saying, Councilman Roy, can you come in for me? I said, listen, don't say that. That's your jinx me. So I said, oh, okay. I get that, put it in existence.
yes.
But that was funny. That was funny. I said, no, not yet.
I
Not
think I'm
yet.
gonna start calling you
Not
that.
yet. Not yet.
Yeah.
But we're going to do it. They're scared. Are we still on tape?
Yeah.
Yes. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Go ahead.
So thank you so much for
Edit
watching
that
this.
part. They didn't see me coming. They didn't see a regular person coming into the race to just knock them out.
Thank you so much that you learned a lot. We hope this was beneficial for you and that, you could pick one or two lessons from this. Feel free to connect, with Mr. Oliver and his foundation if you decide to donate or you would like to be part of the work that he's currently doing. And we would like for you to subscribe, follow us on all our different platforms.
And you can go to oliverfordc.com
Yeah.
and sign up, volunteer, donate, and support for the improvement of our city.
Yep. And we will see you on our very next episode. Thank you.
Thank you.
Blessings, blessings.